This is it, our last chance to get our adventure rig expedition ready. From here, we will overland around the world to Australia. For the past month, we've been on our shakedown run in the UK and confidence has grown. But there are a few things that didn't work out in Van Life UK, so this is what we're changing on our self-built adventure rig.
Before we can really load boomerang for the expedition, we need to know how heavy we are.
So we are going to try and find a weigh station.
Oh, is it straight up here?
Yeah, I think it's straight up there. Scrapyard, keep going, yeah. You're going to go to the scrapyard. Trying to find a weigh station to weigh boomerang and see how heavy he is, what the expedition weight is before we're not fully loaded right now. So we just want to get an idea of how much spare parts and equipment we can take on the journey. So we're going to get a bit of a weight estimate so we know how much we can load up.
But don't try to film anything.
Oh, don't try to do this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're not allowed to film on the weigh scales, but we have weighed in empty without much stuff in here, no water or anything like that, 1,900 kilograms. So that only gives us a few 100 kilograms of payload to add to boomerang. So we're going to have to be very careful with what we pack and only pack the bare essentials for this trip. We knew that anyway, but at least now we've got some numbers to work with. So Leah, only one pair of shoes for you.
Okay. No spare parts for you.
What? Boomerang first, then Leah second. We'll have to leave Alaska behind. Never. So we've got these very high quality stainless steel Mosquito and Midgie no-seam screens. We've got them on both of our top windows and on our max fan as well, and that basically allows us to have ventilation without bugs coming in, which is awesome. Now, realistically, we found from experience that no matter how hard you try, there will always be one mosquito that gets in somehow and you just don't expect it. And so the best way to really ensure that you're not getting bitten and you can have a peaceful night's sleep is to have a mosquito net over the bed. It's all well and good having screens on every single door, but at some point they will get in, and unless you have a net when you're in the tropics, you are going to have a hard time. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's going to work really well. We got the like a cube shaped netting, so it fits really well just over the bed here. It's perfect actually.
Okay, so I'm changing the water system, the water tank specifically. Something that I thought would work out didn't really work out in reality, so this is what I'm changing. These are the outlets for the tank. Previously this was a breather, this was where we filled it, and this is where the water drained out of the tank and was sucked up into our pump. So you can see from here, this was as low as this fitting could get. Typically, we sleep with our heads at the back of the van. If the ground is unlevel, we will always stick the nose of the bus downhill. That way our heads are higher than our feet when we go to bed. Now, that's all well and good until the outlets of your water tank are on the uphill side. So our tank would typically be more like this if we were not parked in a flat location. So all the water would be at the other end of the tank. So we were losing 20% of our capacity in the water tank by having the fitting on the side here. Obviously I couldn't have it on the bottom because it would get knocked off when we're going off-road. So what am I doing about it? Well, I've put in a through tank fitting to suck up water from the bottom of the tank. This is where the water will now come out, here. There's a baffle that runs inside the tank here and here to stop the water sloshing around too much when we're driving. So this is as far towards this side as I could actually mount this through tank fitting. If I'd have done it when the tank was being constructed, I could have put it right over there, which would have been better. It's a minor fix. Many people would probably not even think about it, but honestly I think that change of location where the water is drawn from the tank is much better, and that will actually allow us to increase our capacity, or usable capacity, by at least 20%.
Before we left Jersey to leave the UK last time, we ran out of time and couldn't do the curtains. As good as these are at blocking out the sun and allowing us to be quite stealthy because it blocks out all the light, it keeps in all the heat and it keeps out all the heat, they work really, really, really well. But we did want some curtains as well, just so we can have a bit of privacy without blocking out all the light. So if we're sitting here in the camper and there are people around, we can easily just pull the curtains across and we're able to get a bit of light in here, and it gives us privacy. Ben's mum has helped with the curtains. She's sewn up all the curtains here. So this material allows, from the outside you can't see in, but it still allows some quite nice light to come in and keep the space in here looking pretty lit up. Pretty.
Good, it's right out of the way of everything too. It doesn't even interfere with the light. Good job, Mum.
So we opted to have this curtain wire here on the bottom of the curtain so it can hold them flush against the wall, and we opted for that because it also acts as a curtain, or as a dryer, so we can put clothes in it and it will dry our clothes as well.
So our kitchen system is a slide out system, and some of you may probably think that that's a bad idea in a mobile vehicle. But I hunted very carefully for the correct kind of sliders that were not just soft close but stay closed. So these sliders actually pull in at the last second to keep the drawers from sliding out. That's nice, isn't it? In theory. The problem in reality is that there's quite a bit of weight in these drawers, and with the momentum of going around a bend, they just kept on opening. So despite having bought the right kind of sliders, the drawers just opened around every single bend that we went round, which was frustrating. So since the UK test run, we have installed some catches basically so that the drawer still operates in the same way and we don't have to deal with any like latches or anything, or locks, because that's just frustrating. Now we can just push it closed and it does stay closed. So that was one very important modification we made pretty early on. These adjustable ones, by the way, if you have to do this in your camper, are way better than the ones that are not adjustable, because you can actually adjust the tension on them with a screwdriver to make it actually work for the weight of your particular cupboard.
Some of you might have noticed that we picked up something on our England journey. We actually found this guy for only 50p at a supermarket. It's a little basil plant. So we decided we wanted to keep him in our van permanently, just because we like plants and we like living things in our van. It brings a nice feel and like energy to the van. So we decided that this area of the cupboard is quite bare and it was missing something, and we thought putting plant pots in this section of the van would just bring everything together and fill the space up, and it works quite well. So we are able to remove the pots here when we need to. If we are cooking, we can just remove it and place it on the bench here, and we are able to swap and change the plants when we need to. So I think this is a really cool addition to the van. We have a new vegetable hammock. So we found out, we realized very quickly that we actually need a lot more fruit and veggies than the little hammock that we had originally could hold. So we ended up getting a stronger, bigger hammock, and what we're going to do is have this bungee cord. It works pretty well at keeping it kind of still while we're driving, and it holds a lot more fruit and veggies, which means we can go off-grid longer with more food. We had a big problem with squeaking.
And we've resolved it. We found that out the kind of hard way. Well, we were talking to our patrons doing a Q&A, and a behind the scenes kind of explaining how our videos worked. And
every time we moved on the seat, it was like really loud squeaking. It was really embarrassing.
So we have gone ahead and put rubber, and now we can get jiggy and no one can hear us. In other news, I have purged half of my tools, which was quite difficult to do. Leah's been on at me for a while. So these are basically all the tools that I need to perform almost all of the major surgery on the Kombi. It's about 10 kilos in weight. It's still pretty weighty, but it was twice as heavy before. So yeah, this is it now. Just the bare essentials. I should still be able to take care of this bus as we drive around the world. And I will be cursing Leah's name if I'm needing a tool that I've left behind.
Just gotta be creative. And we changed one more thing that involves Alaska, for Alaska, so she can travel with us safely.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like this one, Alaska.
Oh, she hasn't tried it yet, so...
She's not gonna like it.
No.
Alaska, casa. Good girl. Look what we got. Look at this. Oh yeah, look at that, don't you? That's good. So Alaska does not like travelling in the back. If we ever ask her to stay back here because we just need a bit of space in the front, she freaks out. She doesn't like it. So it's actually less comfortable for her in the front. And when we go travelling through Europe, it will actually be illegal for her to be travelling if she's not secured in the vehicle. It's much safer to have her like this. I know. But it's going to take some getting used to. You might be wondering if there's anything we want to change about our engine. Not likely. This CB Performance engine performed fantastically all the way across the state and all the way up to Scotland. It's going super strong, running really well.
So we're just doing a test drive and we're going to be tuning the engine for our trip to Africa, and we're going to be going on a call to Pat soon, and hopefully they'll be able to tune the engine for us at CB Performance, and it will run very nicely and smoothly.
Yeah, the great thing is that we're able to trace exactly how efficient the engine is running in terms of like burning the gasoline, how lean or rich it's running, and we're able to trace from a drive that we do and see the logs to see if we're running rich or lean and tune accordingly. So at this point the engine is pretty much tuned, we're just fine tuning. So let's jump on the phone with CB Performance and see if they can make sure everything's good to go for the mission ahead. Now this is like a classic air-cooled engine, but it's got a modern system on top of it. If you haven't seen the video where we worked with those guys to build our dream engine for driving around the world, I'll link it up there because it's definitely worth a watch. But I have high hopes that everything is going to be running well. Our tuning is still a little bit rich, but it's like that to preserve the life of the engine so that we can make it all the way across the planet. And I've recently just done a maintenance document which basically outlines all of the maintenance intervals and everything I have to do for the next 100,000 miles. It's a very extensive document and I'm going to be a very busy boy. Driving a classic vehicle around the world is no joke. There are zero opportunities to score second-hand parts here. Luckily there is a very good supplier in the UK of parts, so shout out to Just Kampers for sending these packages. Actually, not only are they sorting out the suspension on this bus, they've actually put together a package which gives us all of our spares for at least the foreseeable future on this journey. I'm really stoked to have the support of Just Kampers. Thank you very much, guys. One of the boxes was full of stuff for Alaska. Check this out. It's a doggy bowl with buses on it, and a doggy bandana with a Kombi on it, and a dog bed with a Kombi on it. Alaska! Come here. Arriva. Oh yeah. Questa te. Oh, what do you reckon? Never moving. Right, I finished with the suspension work. My oh my, was that a lot of work. But the Kombi's sitting pretty good. There's a lot more suspension travel. Got a lot more ground clearance. You might not be able to tell in the video, but it's multiple inches of ground clearance, and every inch counts. That's what she said. So very, very happy. That's been a major work, a lot. It's a big job to do on the Kombi. It's been heavy lifting, it's been pretty exhausting, but I think it was worth us doing that ahead of this big trip before we fully load the Kombi. So sitting level, raised up a little bit, much more confident for the road. It's riding strong. Boomerang is ready. Now we just have to pack.
It's going to be quite a challenge to get everything packed into this vehicle. Like, we have so much stuff that we need to sort out and that we need to try to fit in here, so that is no small task, and it's going to probably take 2 days to do so, so we better start now.
Because we only have 2 days left before we have to leave. This is going to be the heaviest that Boomerang has ever run, because we'll be at full expedition weight with all the spares that we need, and our winter and summer clothes and everything. So let's go and get everything from my nan's house and bring it back here and sort it out. Somehow get all of this into the Kombi, and this isn't even all of the stuff. This is like half of the stuff. Remember, Leah, we're minimalists. We don't need everything here.
Which means no spare parts, no spare tools.
This is all spare parts and spare tools. Heavy! Oh look, more spare parts. At this point, I was mostly running on adrenaline, trying to get everything squared away before we leave. But it didn't hit me until now that this might be the last time that I see my nan in a very long time.
I don't know if I'm going to fit.
Take it all out again. I'll even fit it. Everything closed.
Stuff. We've tried to organise it into piles of so there's like house stuff, camera gear, electrical. All this here is Ben's collection of spare parts and stuff for the van. Look how much there is. That's probably taking up most of the stuff that we have out here. Is that insane? Got a lot of work to do to sort that out, don't you, Ben?
Yeah, that can't all come with us, but I'd say 80% of it is necessary. Some of it's going to have to stay behind and get shipped to us as and when we need the parts, because we just literally physically can't take all that stuff with us. But we'll be taking the most essentials. Camera gear, various chargers and different GoPro packs and drones and cables and lights, and actually our main camera bag isn't here either, neither is our main tripod. So that in itself is taking up half the storage. Over here we've got the fun cupboard. So this is all of the kind of surfing. There will be a surfboard in this bag on the side of the Kombi. Fishing for catching food. Spear gun for doing the same thing. All of this is for Boomerang. Boomerang, look how we look after you. Okay, so we'll take 2 CV joints with us and we'll leave the rest as spares. Ship them out when we need them.
How many spares are there?
CV joint boots, however, break all the time, so we'll be taking all of these. Oil selection is pretty dire, so I'm just using generic oil in the engine. But it's a good idea to use a zinc additive, so I've got this Torco zinc additive. I'm taking 6 of these with me. This will allow me to pick up any kind of crappy oil along the way if I can't find a better replacement. But Boomerang is ready for the road. We are ready for the road. Boomerang has never been stronger, so I'm absolutely confident and excited for the roads to come. This is a very special briefcase. This is basically all of the spare parts for our engine. A lot of you guys have said to us, what the heck are you doing going into the middle of nowhere with a custom engine? Well, one, we wouldn't go into the middle of nowhere without a reliable engine like the one that CB Performance has made for us, and they've also sent us off with this entire briefcase full of spare sensors and spare parts so that we can service the engine for at least the next 50,000 miles. So this is the engine spares, and the rest of our spares for the next leg of our journey pretty much fit into this one shoebox. These are like essentials, and we've got a few other things like a couple of ball joints and a couple of extra CV joints, and then basically lots of CV boots because we break those, and spare tie rod end, spare shock absorber. But this is our bare minimum kind of essentials spares kit. It's going to take up quite a bit of space. We've just got to find a place to put it. Lee's going to kill me because all the clothes I'm bringing with me are Kombi Life t-shirts. But I like them. We made the designs. I like them. To travel is to live. Damn straight it is. This one's not Kombi Life. The last time I packed to leave on a big trip, it was for 10 years. This time, just like last time, I don't know how long it will be before I return. It's been a serious challenge getting this project off the ground. It's been a heck of a lot of work for everyone involved, but it has been great to spend time with my family and to have them play a part in building our new home. I will treasure these memories, and I'm grateful that there will be a part of them with us on the road. Okay, what a hectic day it has been.
That was intense, hectic. We didn't film hardly at all because we were just like rushing, working as hard as we could to like pack everything in time. And it took us from 7 a.m. in the morning till now it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m.
Yes,
it took us all day.
I just want to say though, like Leah and I have hardly spoken all day, okay? We haven't had really a plan like you do this and I do this, but somehow we have worked like a phenomenal team. Like you have just taken everything that I haven't thought about, and I've taken everything that you haven't thought about, and we've just made it happen. We would never have done this. I wouldn't have done it without you, and you wouldn't have done this without me. So we deserve a high five. Yes.
Good job.
That fills me with a lot of confidence for the roads to come, because I think I might just have the right partner. So now we are more than ready for the adventure. Europe and the open road is calling. We can't wait to see what we discover, who we meet, and what kind of mischief we find ourselves in. This is the start of a whole new chapter, and we know that it's going to be something very special. Until next time, happy travels.